In this video, we're going to watch Julia Child count to 10. And this is an interesting phenomenon because I don't think it always works. And I think that this kind of goes in possibly in the same realm of how, you know how they like to take old stuff and digitize it and they say that they're remastering it and then, oh, look, now they've added chemtrails into old movies and stuff like that. I think sometimes they're messing with the speed too, the playback speed of these things. And it's, in my opinion, to undo weird things that happens with media over long periods of time, because time is actually variable and it has to do with the day-night cycle and how long that takes. And I think that's the real reason why really old footage looks sped up. They make up different lies about that, in my opinion. They say that they were just using different speeds or something like that, but I mean, I don't think that they were watching things in fast motion back then. I think that when they played their own media, it played at normal speed. And I don't think there's any reason that it should be playing in fast motion. It's just that today, that something to do with the time keeping mechanisms, seconds are a lot shorter today than they were in times past. So I think that's what's really happening, and they just have an excuse for it. But anyways, let's get into the video. Let's listen to her count to 10. And the reason that the screen will pop up with numbers, I was trying to get the numbers on the screen so that we can compare Julia Child counting to 10 to what YouTube was telling me were the seconds. So here, let's watch this. I'll maybe watch it a few times.
Now we have tomatoes. And I'm going to make a tomato sauce that has half fresh and half canned tomatoes. And first they have to be blanched, so they can be peeled. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 seconds. Exactly.
And right there, it cuts off, and she's saying exactly. She says 10 seconds exactly, because this is a thing that people really used to practice. People really used to practice counting slowly along with the seconds. I don't think that they even teach that anymore in school. It's gone in the way of naps in kindergarten, which also has to do with time moving more quickly. Anyone who's a parent these days, nap time is a mess with children. They if they get a nap, then they're going to stay up till midnight, and it's a big mess. That's why naps have been taken out of elementary school, though, because there's not enough time for that anymore. They've just gotten rid of it. And that's also why curricula is constantly taken out of the classroom, because there's less time. But the counting thing is a very concrete, it's you either remember the way that things used to be, or you're going to be gaslit into the matrix and just accept whatever NASA says. NASA has come out and said that the Earth is spinning faster, but of course they'll tell you it's like a millisecond every year. But in my opinion, that's disclosure. They know exactly what's going on. They know time is moving more quickly. Everybody is always bringing it up. It did not used to be like that, where literally every time you come to a meeting, people will say, whoa, time's just flying by. That is just constant these days. Everybody's always noticing how time is moving so quickly. And I think that you either can admit it or you're just lying to yourself. So I'm going to play this video one more time. It appears that Julia starts counting at the 08-ish or 09. And this is where you can kind of split hairs. I did a little bit of math that I'll talk about at the end if you want to try to split hairs on here. But it looks like it certainly finishes counting at 22. So on the clock there, that's much more than 10 seconds. If somebody starts counting at the 8-second and they're counting for 10 seconds, right, they shouldn't be going to the 22. So you can do the math. But let's just watch it one more time and look at the stopwatch.
Now we have tomatoes. And I'm going to make a tomato sauce that has half fresh and half canned tomatoes. And first they have to be blanched, so they can be peeled. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 seconds. Exactly.
Okay, so if you want to say that it got put in at the 9 and it came out on the 21, okay, I could see that. Let's take a conservative estimate. So that would mean that 10 old seconds is 12 new seconds. And I think that's a really conservative estimate. I think that's extremely conservative. And just doing a little bit of math, what that ends up being is that an old 24 hours now takes up 28.8 hours, basically 29 hours, basically five more hours of today's time is needed in order to get back to the way things used to be. That's a decent chunk of time missing from every day, even on the most conservative of estimates. Because I think that is so conservative. I think it really is more like it took 14 seconds for an old 10 seconds. I think is more like 14 seconds today. And interesting, that gives you a 33.6 hours in today's hours compared to old 24 hours, which is like 9.6 extra hours today that we would need. So if you want to get back to an old 24 hours, and just see if this feels right too. To me, this feels right. Somewhere between 5 and 10 more hours today to get back to what it would be like to be a single day. You would have to do a whole day today and then 5 more hours, or maybe even 10 more hours at today's pace. And yeah, all sorts of life things I can just tell. I didn't used to be able to stay up late. I used to get so tired by 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night. And I had video games back then too. I had computers and I would sit up and play video games just the same. But nowadays, I'm past midnight constantly. It's so easy to stay up past midnight and it'll be 2 o'clock before you know it. And it really didn't used to be like that. It used to be a big effort to stay up late. My young children can stay up till midnight, no problem. It's really not a challenge for them. And I don't think that's normal at all. I think we're in a really short time day-night cycle right now. And it's Jesus Christ prophecy. Jesus prophesied that in the end, the days shall be shortened. And that's exactly what it is today. The days are so short today. The days are so short that if you want it to be like an old day, you'd have to do a whole day. And then with my just napkin estimations here, you need 5 more hours. You need 10 more hours to equal what it used to be to be a full day. Days used to be really lazy and you could get a lot done. And nowadays, I say this all the time, where you have to pick and choose your activities and limit yourself today. You have to put limits, because a lot of us, it's like we remember the way that things used to be, and you used to be able to get a lot of stuff done. It's literally impossible. Anytime that I have family come and visit, they have all these huge plans about, oh, we could do this, we should do that. And I'm like, pick one of those things and maybe we'll get to that. And oh, another thing about time I was just thinking about earlier today, spring break. Spring break hardly exists anymore. It's going on a vacation for a week is going to feel like 2 days. Because, and it's even worse, because all of the time that we spend on getting there, on not actually doing the activity, we still have to do all the same. You still got to put your shoes on anytime you're going to go someplace. You still got to go to the airport and do those things. And now that time takes way more than it used to. But you still got to do that 2 times. And that just eats away at your trip so much more than it used to. All these little things add up today, because every day we still have so many little things that we have to get done. And that used to be a manageable chunk of your day. But it's gotten to the point where the little everyday things that we have to get done take up so much of your day now that we're barely left with time for anything. And yeah, I've already said spring break, it's basically a thing of the past. Who can get ready to go on some huge vacation? Like, we're going to take the family to Mexico for a week during spring break. I'm not saying that never happens now. It does happen, but it's not in the same way that it used to be, that spring break was a huge phenomenon and everybody would go on a trip on spring break. I would imagine a lot of people just stay home these days and get caught up on stuff. And I mean, working in education, I have a different perspective because spring break really doesn't exist if you work in education, because now you need that week to prepare for the next coming stuff. So if you're not totally off of work for a week, you're really not going to have time to go do some crazy vacation, and it certainly won't feel the same. I mean, even back in the day growing up, you need more than a week to have a solid vacation, but nowadays you really feel that. It really is going to feel like, man, that felt like a couple days if you only take a vacation for a week. Well, that's it. Thank you, Julia Child. Let me know little things in your life that make it clear to you that time ain't what it used to be. And literally, the seconds go by faster today. Anybody who remembers the way it used to be can count alongside a stopwatch, and you'll see that the seconds fly by today. God bless everyone.